Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born May 21st of 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And from childhood, people noticed that something was different about Jeffrey. He was shy, withdrawn, and fascinated with dead animals. And at age 4, Jeffrey went through a painful double hernia surgery at his groin. And some experts believe that early trauma, coupled with not being able to fully understand what was going on, may have led to his feelings of isolation and confusion about his body. His parents' marriage was anything but stable, and by the age of 8, he started showing signs of emotional detachment. Classmates remembered him as a loner who sometimes made bizarre jokes. They even said that he mocked people with disabilities for attention, and that around the school, whenever somebody was caught doing something goofy or silly, it was titled doing a Dahmer. And despite his average intelligence, by high school his grades began to slip. He was already heavily drinking and even hiding alcohol inside of his locker. His first unaliving occurred in 1978, just after graduation. Dahmer had picked up 18-year-old Stephen Hicks while hitchhiking on his way to a concert and took him back and unalived him. And after years of escalation, most of his unalivings occurred between 1987 and 1991. In total, Dahmer was convicted of 17 unalivings, but the true number may never be known. He targeted mostly young men of color. Many of them were Black, Asian, or Latino, and he would lure them back to his house with promises of money or alcohol. And many of these guys were met either in gay bars or on the streets. Dahmer's neighbors at his apartment described him as quiet but friendly, but many of the people later claimed that they had noticed strange smells coming from his apartment. Some have speculated, though never proven, that he could have possibly fed some of the remains of his victims to his neighbors, unknowingly through shared foods and cookouts. And that we know of, his youngest victim, Conrad, was only 14 years old. Many psychologists point towards the possibility of Jeffrey Dahmer having borderline personality disorder along with antisocial personality disorder, necrophilic tendencies, and an array of paraphilias factoring towards his crimes. On February the 17th of 1992, Dahmer was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms in prison. He was then unalived on November 28, 1994, inside of the Columbia Correctional Institution in Wisconsin. The man who unalived him's name was Christopher Scarver, which was another inmate serving a life sentence for an unaliving. Scarver claimed that he was disgusted by Jeffrey Dahmer's lack of remorse, and claimed that Jeffrey Dahmer would mock other inmates by shaping his food into the shape of human body parts. Many people, including myself, speculate that a prison guard may have set Jeffrey Dahmer up to be unalived by leaving him alone with Scarver, and another inmate alone in a work area with no supervision. It's believed that the guard was aware that tensions were high between them to begin with. And I personally believe that it is suspicious that Dahmer, such a high-profile inmate, was left in such a vulnerable position that day. But what's so bizarre to me is that even to this day, I hear so many people talk about Dahmer, America's most infamous serial unaliver. And while I do understand shining lights on the truth behind Dahmer, the man behind the crimes, I would like to take the time to remember the lives that was lost. The real story isn't Jeffrey Dahmer, it's them. Sons, brothers, friends, lives that were stolen way too soon. So we need to speak their names so that they are never forgotten.